Hi guys, this is Catherine Justice with Gentili Real Estate here today, and I'm with John Stone from Century 21 Select, and we have a special guest, Jackie Whedon from Precision Home Loans. Welcome, Jackie.
Hello.
Hi,
Thank
Jackie.
you. It's
Welcome
good to be
back.
here. Thank you.
I'm glad you came back.
It's nice to be back.
She wasn't sure what to say there, John.
So I have a question. You're a first-time home buyer. You have money for a down payment, but don't have enough for closing costs. What do you do?
There's plenty of options, actually. So there are plenty of programs out there that are government-backed that are going to be down payment assistance programs. What it's important to know is that when you're looking for a down payment or closing cost, it's really all the same, right? I have $15,000 that I can put towards this transaction. It can go towards closing cost or towards down payment. It's all going to go the same thing. You're going to take that money to escrow and they're going to put it where it needs to go. So the down payment assistance program is used for both closing cost and down payment. There's CalHFA, which is one of the most popular programs that is easiest to qualify for in most regard, as well as the most financially beneficial, for instance, because the way that it is paid back is going to be only at a 1% rate over the time that you have that a second mortgage sitting there, where there's a lot of other fees that are involved with some of the others.
So specifically with CalHFA, if you get 3.5% for down payment, do you have to pay that money back?
You do. You pay it back, but not until you refinance or sell the home.
Okay.
In the meantime, it's a silent second. So it's going to sit there. You don't make a monthly payment on it. You don't do anything to it until you go to refinance or sell the home. At that point in time, it's paid in full out of the equity.
Which makes it much more affordable for people who are trying to get into a home.
Right.
Correct.
A little bit less. So what kind of interest rate are we looking at roughly with CalHFA? Is it the same as an FHA or conventional, or how does that work?
So CalHFA is actually going to be either FHA or conventional. Both programs are available. Because it's government backed, they dictate what that rate is going to be. The interest rate is published every single Monday through Friday, unless it's a holiday, of course. And it's posted it from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Anybody can see it. The good thing about the CalHFA is that you don't have to worry about one lender being different than the other, because it's no matter who you go to, if you have a lender that you trust, you can use them and be confident that you're going to have the same rate across the board. Everybody gets the same exact rate available. You have the same buy-down options if you wanted to put a little bit more in there to decrease that interest rate on a permanent basis as well. It's very straightforward.
So you don't need to shop your rate
Correct.
with that. It's
Yep.
just it's set in stone pretty much.
That's right.
So that's a great option for someone to come in. And you already touched on USDA, if you can qualify for that. I personally think VA loans are amazing. I think our vets have every right to utilize those. And if you got one of those, use them, okay?
Yes. Thank you for your service.
Right, absolutely. And your rate is usually a little bit less on the VAs?
They're usually on the VA. It is usually less. Yes.
Okay, which is a plus.
So did I hear you correctly that if you're getting down payment assistance from CalHFA specifically, can you also get a credit from the seller to
You can.
buy down the rate?
You can get a credit from the seller to cover closing costs, and also to buy down the interest rate. There are 2-1 buy down options, which I know you guys have discussed in a previous segment as well.
Right.
That is also an option on a CalHFA or down payment assistance program.
Okay.
What's the limit on that credit? Is there a certain amount that they can get?
It depends
From a
on,
seller?
it's going to follow the guidelines for conventional or for
Okay.
FHA. So on a conventional basis, it's going to be 3%. In most cases, because on conventional, it is dependent upon how much your down payment is. So it's important to also know that on a down payment assistance program, you can put more money into it. So if you are a first-time home buyer and you qualify for the down payment assistance, but you have, let's say, you've saved up your own money, or you have a gift from a family member of some kind, you can combine those together. You are not limited to put down the minimum 3.5% and use the down payment assistance program only. So if you get down to 10% down payment, for instance, on conventional, you can actually have more seller credit as well negotiated into your contract.
That's good
And
to
then
know.
FHA is 6%.
Okay.
And then the more down payments you put in, the less your mortgage insurance will be.
That's correct. Your private mortgage insurance, or PMI, is another way that they call that. So all of those are exchanged to be the exact same meaning. And that PMI is going to be a little bit less when you have a larger down payment.
Okay, so give me an example. If I bought a home for 400,000 and I only put the 3.5% down, what would my private mortgage insurance be monthly, maybe, so people understand that?
For an FHA, you're probably looking at that point, probably about $172 a month. On a 400,000. Now,
Okay.
if they put 10% down, that's going to drop down to probably closer to about $80 a month. So it almost cuts in half.
Big difference. So how about VA loans? I keep going back to VA, but is
She
there
likes her
mortgage?
veteran.
Well, I do, and my dad's a veteran. But is there mortgage insurance on a
There's
VA?
not.
Yay!
There's not mortgage insurance on a VA or USDA, actually.
There you go.
Yeah,
So those would be nice to utilize those if they can. So.
definitely.
And do you think there's a lot of times there's just that lack of education of what people can do to actually purchase a home? I think some people don't realize they can purchase a home.
Definitely. I've had a lot of buyers in the 22 years that I've been doing loans that have come to me and said, well, I want to be ready to buy in 6 months. And then I've gone through the entire process with them as far as applying, looking at all of their income and assets and saying, you actually could buy today if you wanted to. I can set you on a plan to know what you're going to be at in 6 months. But if you wanted to buy today, there's nothing holding you back. And they don't realize that they could actually afford it.
Right.
So that was a pro tip. When you're
Yep,
ready to buy
there
a
you
house
go.
or thinking about buying a house, 6 to 9 months out, go see a good quality lender like Jackie.
Yeah.
Yes. The second you think about buying a house,
Correct.
just plan for
Start,
it.
That's the
Yep.
first place to start.
Yeah.
Okay, so the buzz, is it
The
dream?
What
dream.
everybody wants to
Dream
know.
for all.
I would
or-
sing Dream for you, but you don't. They'd never invite me back, I promise you.
They're bringing back phase 2.
They are.
I hear it's a little different.
A little is not the right, it's a lot different.
And what are we talking about, you guys?
So, CalHFA, State of California, put together a Dream for All program. The intent is to assist first-time home buyers in order to get them into a home and be able to qualify more. So they understand that the cost of living has increased, that the interest rates have increased, and so some people are not buying homes because they can't afford it. So last year brought together this program for 20% down payment assistance.
Wow.
The money was gone in a flash.
Like
And
2 days.
Literally.
it seemed like it. It was about
Yeah.
2.5 weeks, but for that much money, it's definitely may as well have been 2 days.
Yeah.
Okay. But we're not going to go and hash that over
No,
why it
we're
went
not.
so fast because they've changed a lot of the rules
did.
and the way that you can do this. And that's really what we're here for today.
Yep. The way that they have changed it, and the most important thing is that they're really trying to drive first generation home buying. So if your parents have never owned a home, they're wanting to help you be the first one in this next line of generation in order to be able to have home ownership and build wealth with that.
Okay, so if my parents owned a home, I don't qualify for that program.
Correct.
Okay. What else is different that you can think of that we know? Because I know it's still being worked on.
The biggest other difference is going to be that it's a lottery. So the last time it was the first come first served basis, and now they've really realized that wasn't fair. It put a lot of people in a position where they got excited to buy a home and then couldn't. So now this time they're going to open up a reservation system. Once you're pre-approved, you have to be pre-approved first. Your lender will give you your pre-approval letter. You'll personally go into the reservation system, you basically put your name in the hat, and then when they close that system, they'll do a lottery and they'll give you a voucher, and then you have 60 days to shop and find a home with that voucher. So there's no pressure this time to get an offer accepted and get in before the money's gone, because once you have the voucher, you are guaranteed at that point to find a home in 60 days and be able to use it.
And when do they think they're going to roll that out? Do we have a date yet?
There's no specific dates that have been announced. The anticipation is that they keep saying spring. The anticipation is that March,
April, May.
right. Beginning of March is the beginning of spring, technically.
Right.
Calendar-wise. And so they're really thinking at this moment that reservation system beginning of March. It'll be open for a couple weeks. It'll close after that. And then come April is when vouchers will be issued for you to be able to go ahead and shop.
So in your opinion, the best thing for people to do that are thinking about buying a home in a few months is to come in, get pre-approved,
Yes.
and then when that thing rolls out, they can register and see what happens.
Correct. Just make sure that if you qualify for it, that you do throw your name in the hat if you want to try for that. If you find a home in the meantime, though, we are suggesting don't wait. It's very important to know that if you find a house that is right for you, it's not going to be there when the program comes out, and you
Right.
may or may not get the money anyway. So if we can qualify you using CalHFA that we've already spoke about, the original program or any other type of program, we can get you set up to know what you would qualify today. And at that point, if that's the case that you do happen to qualify for it.
Awesome.
But being a lottery, I don't know if you buy Super Lotto tickets or Mega Millions, but I haven't won yet. So
Yeah, and honestly, I think that's fair. When new home builds were at that point, people went in, put their names in, and that's how they did lottery. And I think that's
Right.
absolutely fair. But there's one other component to this. So I'm in firm belief that this is great. I like the fact that it's to help build generational wealth. Okay, because I know that my families that I deal with, mom and dad have a home. Usually they can kind of help their son or daughter, they can try to do it. I do have a question though. If mom owns a home and dad doesn't, or dad owns a home and mom doesn't, or you're a foster child, what
That's
happens
like
then?
6 questions, not one.
it wasn't it? She just likes to make sure I'm paying attention. So if mom or dad owns a home, it doesn't matter if it's one or both. That unfortunately does disqualify you for the program.
Okay.
On the foster child piece of it, if you've ever been in the foster system, you will qualify automatically for that. So you will, as far as qualify to put your name in the hat. Let me make sure that that's clear. You
Yeah.
still have to be part of the lottery,
Right.
but you are eligible to put your name in the hat if that is the case.
I'm pretty impressed. That was a great question.
Well, good. I'm glad I could impress you. I don't impress him much.
Not
okay?
very often.
Yeah, but it's really, to me, it's really important because I had somebody question, well, they don't think it's fair. Well, I do think it's fair.
Yeah.
Because who doesn't want to own their own home? And as an agent, when we talk to
Right.
people that are renting, we tell them, well, you're paying that interest rate on the seller. Like, why are you doing that? Pay your own interest
Right.
rate. Pay your own payments.
It's really something that I think that every program has to have some sort of limitations.
Right.
And
I agree.
those limitations are not going to appeal to the masses all the time. But that's the only way for us to continue to get programs like this. So it's something that's directed towards this specific pool this time. Last time it wasn't, and next time it'll be different again. They're going to continue to change it and evolve it as we get these funds available, and they always have. So for now, it's really trying to help those first generation.
Home buyers.
Yes,
Yeah. This is for all of the state of California.
correct. All of the state of California.
Do we know about any purchase limits?
The purchase limits are going to fall into standard conventional limits, so you most likely won't
Okay.
qualify for jumbo. There are income limitations as well.
Okay.
So whoever's on the application, their income has to fall into a specific percentage of the area median income limit in order to qualify. So it is also to help the lower to moderate income family households
get
as
started.
well.
Right.
Right.
And
So-
you'll have those guidelines as someone
Yes.
comes and talks to you.
Right.
So our suggestion is that you contact Jackie, get yourself qualified, whether you can qualify for the Dream program,
Right.
or whether you can qualify for a CalHFA
so
or
you're ready to go.
any
Yeah,
others. There's
absolutely.
plenty. There's Platinum. There's My Home. There's a ton of different programs that are available. We've only touched on a few of those that are the normal, but
Right.
we're very, very good at figuring out what works best for you because every situation is different. We want to respect your budget and your
Absolutely.
household and what you need to do.
Right.
Well, Jackie, thanks again.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Your knowledge is just
Way more
Awesome.
than John and I. How's that? Like,
It's okay. You won't find me trying to be a real estate agent. So
well, and that's why you choose a good lender. I know I've been in the business for a while. John's been in the business. We only associate ourselves with people that we trust
Right.
that will do a great job for you guys and put you in the right loan.
because we're all a team.
That's exactly it.
It all has
That's
to work
exactly
together. So thank you. Please remember to like and share, and if you
Subscribe.
have subscribe, and if you have some comments, we would love to see those. So until next time, have a good night.